On today's video, we have about 13 tips that will maximize your efficiency in the Lost Kingdom. You'll get the best rewards available. You'll lose the least amount of troops. You'll be able to contribute as much as possible to your alliance and enjoy your Lost Kingdom as much as possible. Smash a like on this video and let's get going. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to the Gekko. We have 13 tips that were compiled by myself from experience in the Lost Kingdom, as well as tips from my alliance mates in JWM for you guys to enjoy your Lost Kingdom, to get the best rewards, to be the most efficient, and to overall have a good event. We're gonna start with the first most important tip I have for you guys in terms of individual rewards. Individual honor points are no joke. To get to 150k is not an easy task if you're not keeping up with it on a day-to-day, or if you're not someone with insane amounts of AP like these guys have from the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Barbarian Forts they've been hunting for months at a time. So how do you get to that 150? Well, tip number one is do not use any AP potions on Barbarians that are levels 26 through 35 unless you have to. If your alliance and kingdom cannot make it to zone 5 or to zone 6, or you can only get to zone 5 or only get to zone 4, you really want to make sure you're using your AP at the highest level of Barbarian. That'll give you the most honor points for the least trouble. That means that if you can make it to zone 6, level 36 Barbarians is where you're really going to have to grind your AP potions. If you can only make it to zone 5, level 31s are the key you want to go with. But zone 4 is not where I would recommend spending your AP. As much as the Barbarians in zone 4 drop boatloads of arrowheads and freaking a lot of gems, all the other levels do as well, and you're really going to want to get all these honor points. You're going to have to do double the work fighting 26s against 36s. So keep that in mind. This is for your honor points. Save your AP in the Lost Kingdom. Go ham on level 36s if you can. Doing the Crusader event beforehand is very tempting to use all your AP because those rewards are really good. But I recommend leaving a nice amount of AP in your bank so you can get as many honor points as possible. The rewards are very juicy. And don't worry, even if you have very low amounts of AP potions, you get a lot of them from the achievements themselves. Some of these achievements, your alliance will help you out getting them done, and you'll get your potions for free. And some you're going to have to work for and then get more potions for free. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, do not fight in the open field. There is nothing more, exciting, I guess you can call it, with the crazy amounts of people fighting and all the numbers and all the lag and poof, and it's like madness, right? The big problem happens that once that madness goes away, nothing was achieved by either team, except for the slight fact that whichever team lost the most troops will have to use the more resources to heal. And that is not a very big gain. You can get that same gain plus more by focusing on either rallying if you're attacking, structures, especially flags, or defending your own flags and structures or whatever it'll be. Passes, fortresses, whatever you're defending. Open field combat is a very juicy way to get a lot of kills. But the amounts of healing you're going to have to do will make you potentially completely disabled to help your alliance when they really need you, as your hospitals are full and it costs boatloads of resources to heal. You can fill up your hospital twice, 3 times with tier 4s like that in the Lost Kingdom. So you really want to make sure you're not wasting all these resources by healing for nothing. So don't fight in the open field. Focus on rallies, focus on defense. Best tip I can give you to save you troops, resources, time, energy, and make you more efficient and helpful to your alliance. Tip number 3 is the one you guys are seeing right now. The funny thing is, when I was recording the first take of this video, I didn't know that this was going on. I forgot to set an alarm this time around for this ancient ruin. And so all of a sudden the thing goes on my screen, goes ancient ruins belong to JWM, and I was like, crap, I gotta go get there. Do not miss any ancient ruins or altars of darkness that are under, that you can get to. Meaning, if your alliance is rotating that ancient ruin in between alliances in the kingdom, that makes sense, right? You can't go there unless you start jumping alliances, which you can do. Jump the alliance to be always on the ancient altar. That's not a bad tip either. But you really want to make sure to be at any and all of these, because that is 906,000 individual honor points per every time it happens. And ancient ruins will happen quite a bit. You will really get, like, you can get to the 120 points, 1,000 points by just doing this, and all you need is 30,000 points of grind of your own. So keep that in mind. Do not miss ancient ruins or altars of darkness. Tip number 4 I have for you guys is that you have to remember that as a kingdom, you don't have to do everything as a kingdom. If you have a main alliance that does most of the damage and most of the work, obviously people rotate in and out of it to help and whatnot. Ooh, we see a golden gift right here, 50,000 XP. What does happen that is important to remember is that some of the alliances that are your affiliate alliances might not have the privilege of getting all the rewards that the main alliance is getting. Make sure you're leaving some space in your alliance, or you get a few people to leave the alliance for an hour or two, and you really start letting people from your kingdom into the alliance to pick up the rewards every time there's a new reward. It'll boost morale. It'll make you, as the leading alliance, a defender, someone who cares for your kingdom. It doesn't cost you anything to let someone in for 2 seconds, get the rewards, and get out. Do it. Be good to your kingdom. Be good to the people around you, even if they're not in your alliance. Even if it's an alliance that you guys were rivals, allow them to enjoy the rewards. That kindness will get you a long way. Number 6, actually 5. Always use your daily AP on barbarians. Now, I kind of contradict myself, right? Because I said don't use AP on level 26 barbarians. Your free AP, use it as much as you can, but do not use potions. Your daily AP is even more important in the Lost Kingdom than any time else. Because it's not only barbarian hunting, which will give you nice little extra reward thingies. It's also your event calendar, and every barbarian you kill goes towards your individual honor points. So you want to make sure you're always zeroing out your AP and always utilizing it in whichever way is the best way for you. 26s, 31s, or 36s. Number 6, do not be a teleport hero. A teleport hero is a guy who goes to the frontmost flag, or even the second or third flag, ports there, and stays there. If you are going to leave the battlefield. You have no idea how many people said, oh, the enemy won't get to me. I'm like 5 flags behind. Went to sleep, woke up, zeroed. Do not be a port hero. You're going to get boatloads of ports. Not only from here, where you get, by the way, I think not in here, right? You get more of the ports on the, you'll get boatloads of ports, from the first occupations of buildings throughout Lost Kingdom. You will be able to very easily port back and forth inside the Lost Kingdom in different places without an issue. Don't stay at the forefront of your territory. Do not get zeroed. Remember that also, when your kingdom goes under one color, it can be very deceiving to port somewhere that seems red or purple or whatever it is. Keep an eye on what flag it is that you're under, because if you're under a flag from another alliance from your kingdom and you go to sleep, you are zeroed. Don't do it. Tip number 7, mind the marches. So a perfect example to mind the marches is this right here that you're seeing. As I mentioned to you guys, when I was recording this video, this all of a sudden opened up and I was like, damn, I missed it. I almost missed it, right? When I recorded the first take, I was located in zone 7, like most of our alliance, exactly because of what's going on right now. Rallies on Barbarian Forts level 10. But then I realized that I don't have enough time to march from here all the way to our ancient ruin, and so I ended up teleporting. It's going to cost me another teleport to go back. Mind the marches, folks. The map is big. Mind the marches, and I'm not saying mind the marches, the march speed, the march time, not only in these situations. Mind the march time when you're joining a rally. Don't join a rally from far away. Get yourself a bit closer before you join the rally. Reinforce the rally later on, but don't make the rally wait for you because you're 7 minutes away. Do not go add your troops into a building, into something that's being attacked from 7 minutes away. Mind the march times. This is very important. People slip on that a lot, and it causes a lot of trouble. Number 8 is diplomacy goes a long way. Lost Kingdom 8 had JWM, who destroyed everybody, but in the beginning they were very limited with their reach, and High, who were the rivals here of JWM, actually opted to go away from JWM and enjoy their Zone 5, and the way they were able to do that was through diplomacy with Kingdom 64, who agreed to share Zone 5. High ended up picking up the Sanctuary, the only thing that Kingdom 64 didn't in here. But other than that, you can see kind of where the territories ended up. Very peaceful situation. It was very good, very fun. And of course, other types of diplomacy you're seeing here are the fact that LWHK are also able to come out here, even though we just picked up this altar of this ancient ruins. Sometimes they pick it up. So, and you can see right here, this looks like it's maybe High in here, or TIM maybe are in here. Kingdom 58 or 50. So TIM, so Kingdom 59 owned this as well. But for the longest time, even after JWM pushed High all the way to the back, High had this in here and did participate in this quite a lot until the Zone 4 opened up and everything went to hell. So diplomacy goes a long way. Be kind as well. Like you can see, JWM didn't care too much that these folks came out a little bit. They don't mind too much that Kingdom 64 have their own area right here. Kingdom 63 have their own little thing right here. So they have access to these zones. Be kind. Diplomacy goes a long way. Tip number 9. I just mentioned this previously, but we're going to talk about it yet again. Level 10 Barbarian Forts are a must. The reason level 10 Barbarian Forts are a must is because in the individual honor points, the only thing that gives you more points than the level 36 Barbarians per AP use is level 10 Barbarian Forts. Now, the level 10 Barbarian Forts are very limited. They spawn, I think, 3 or 4 times a day, and within 20-30 minutes, you won't have any of them available anymore. So you got to figure out what the times are in your kingdom that these things pop up. And when they do, if you obviously have the ability to get to those, that's a must. That is a must. I would almost say the same about level 9s. Level 9s are less efficient. You get 5 honor points less than hunting 5 times levels 36s versus the 150 points AP points for this. But at the same time, remember that hunting the barbarians requires you to be there to click and go next, do so forth and so on. And while you send 5 marches to 5 level 9 Barbarian Forts or 10s and then walk away, by the time you came back, you have done 5 times the amount of work per time and you didn't sit there. So I think that these Barbarian Forts are a must. I figured that out a bit too late. I figured that out way too late. And that's how a lot of people in Kingdom 196 from Legends Gaming really managed to pass me in the individual honor points, because I wasn't paying too much attention to those Barbarian Forts. Tip number 10, you're going to need a huge amount of resources to be relevant. You're going to have to help heal. You're going to have to heal. You're going to have to potentially train troops. You're going to have to keep growing and building. And you might want to, help your alliance mates, do quests and things like that. You're going to need resources, folks. If you're not gathering ahead of time, make sure you're gathering continuously through Lost Kingdom in some shape or form. I've picked up tons of resources by hunting barbarians and barbarian forts. So make sure you have a big reserve of resources in your bags or available on you. If they're available on you, don't get them stolen by porting too far forward. Make sure you have a nice reserve of resources. You're really going to need those. Number 11 is pre-plan your flagging. Now, JWM has an individual. I don't know how she does it, because she's very, very smart about it. But she has, I think, a plot of the map, or she has like a grid of the map. I don't know how she does it, but we have an individual whose job it is to literally place all the flags to let us know how many flags we need and where, in order to, for example, achieve the 5 fortresses achievement, which JWM have achieved. The way they did it is by doing things like this, which initially what they did was they made it through here, pushing High back, and then they made it in here, And then for once they had access to this zone, they dropped the fort down here, got this pass, managed to make it this way, dropped the fort in here, and now they have access to all of this. But the way they managed to figure that one out is by having someone map all the flags. Make sure you're doing that as well in some shape or form. Even in high at the time, we had a somewhat of a sketch on how we wanted the flags to look. It's important also for resource nodes. You're gonna want to come in and figure out where all these resource nodes are on the map to plan your flagging. Do not trust this right here. This is wrong. The resource tab right here, this thing is wrong. It never worked properly. What we did is literally go and mark with markers every single one of the tiles that we wanted, and then from there it charted a flag, like a flag path or whatever not. Tip number 12. Careful where you drop fortresses, and at the same time, make sure you're dropping fortresses in correct spots. So one of the things we saw in one of the videos I made in the past about Lost Kingdom Wars is that once this opened up, someone from this kingdom dropped a fort right here. And what they didn't realize is that they wouldn't be able to finish building this before these guys from here with the alliance skill or fast building flags would make their way this way. And now the problem is that everybody that is in this kingdom has to march the whole way from here all the way here to get more and more troops in. There is no territory in here for them to port. And so the individuals that came from this side made it all the way in and destroyed their fort. This was just a demonstration. In the video, it's actually at the bottom right, but whatever. Make sure you're dropping your forts in correct spots in places that you can either defend or that have any meaning whatsoever. The first thing JWM did when this zone opened up is they dropped this right here. Why? Because they knew that all their flag plan would end up needing this in here in order for them to get in here properly, and in order for them to be able to hold all of our territory from the beginning all the way to here, because they're gonna need another fortress to get to the bottom side, which is the fortress we saw right here. Careful where you drop your fortresses. Those are very expensive, and make sure you're utilizing them correctly. Don't be afraid of dropping forts. It's very important to use forts. Deleting a fort and putting it somewhere else is expensive, but sometimes it's a must. Final tip I have for you guys is focus on training tier 4s. Now, some of you are saying, "Ran, I just got to tier 5s. I want to blast tier 5s. I want to be the whale." Do you though? Because the healing is insanely expensive. The training is insanely expensive. And the bottom line is tier 4s can do just the job if there are enough of them. So if you're going to tell me you have 200,000 tier 5s or 600,000 tier 4s, give me the tier 4s any day of the week. Why? Because that quantity will be better for your alliance to have more troops that you can fill rallies and flags and defend and attack. So mind your budget. If you are not someone who can just pee away tier 5s, focus on training tier 4s. They will come a much longer way, and you're going to notice that a lot of the tier 5 players are doing a mix of tier 4s and tier 5s because of that expense. The name of the game is who gets tired first. And the people who get tired first are the people that run out of troops. Yes, your 200,000 tier 5s will probably destroy 700,000 of my tier 4s. But at some point, I will still have more tier 4s available, and I'll be healing them at a much faster rate than you are. And eventually, I can tire you because for you, it's much more expensive in resources and in speed ups to heal a certain amount of troops than it is to me. And therefore, for me to get back up is much cheaper and it's much faster compared to you, a tier 5 player. So again, as a tier 5 player, it is very beneficial to get there for the researches. The army researches and all that are fantastic. But once you hit those tier 5s, you should really think about how you utilize them. Unless, of course, you're a big power whale who doesn't really care and just, you know, you can go ahead and send 5 full tier 5 marches to swarm a flag that has a YSG on and suffer like 200,000 tier 5s dead. Go for it. If that's the kind of player you are, 2 thumbs up, I guess. But if you are one of those who are not as privileged to get there, training tier 4s, especially tier 4 arches, will bring you a long way to contribute to your alliance. I wanted to give a big shout out to Gekko from JWM for sending a bunch of these cool tips. I asked in the Alliance Kingdom, and a bunch of the folks sent a bunch of these in the Alliance Kingdom, in the Alliance chat. And a bunch of people put a bunch of awesome tips. So thank you to JWM for sharing your experience with the community as well. I'm the Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for supporting me. Thank you very much for watching this video. We're going to wait for this ancient ruin to go back. And then we got some hunting still to do. Another video coming out on Thursday. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. UTC, we got a stream coming up. It might be the end of Lost Kingdom by then, maybe. I'll see you sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.